Hi, everybody. Let's talk a little bit about the value of working on a common goal. Groups that become violent tend to start by dehumanizing one another. Basically, we have to tell ourselves before we can commit violence that the person or people upon whom we are committing that violence are something less than human. Otherwise, most of us, unless, in the absence of severe mental illness, people are not able to harm one another in that way. You have to first decide that the other person deserves it or is in some way less human, less worthy of existence than you are. And we used to think we could disrupt these kinds of dehumanization patterns just by having people get to know one another. There have been peace building programs around the world where you get people in the same room together from opposing sides and have them talk about things like their grandchildren or talk about what they think of the weather or what they like to eat for dinner, and just have that sort of social connection. And that social connection actually is pretty important and it is pretty valuable, but it's not sufficient all by itself. The conflict is, the effect of that on conflict and on dehumanizing patterns is very, very slight. There is a little bit better way of doing this, which is to give the people in the room a common goal, asking them to actually work together to achieve something, not something that's made up, but something that is legitimately meaningful. This allows for the possibility of empathy. As we're working together, I recognize that you are trying just as I am trying, and it lets us also experience interdependence. I'm reliant on you to achieve the goal that I am working to achieve, and you are reliant on me. There's something about this common goal, this working together, that makes our brains shift in how I identify the other person. They started out as a member of, quote unquote, that other group. And as we spend this time together working on a common goal, I start to see the person as a member of my team. We are doing something together. We are doing something that matters together. Therefore, we are a team. Therefore, I am not dehumanizing this other person, and I'm interrupting that kind of pattern that could potentially lead to violence. Here's the good news. When we talk about having a common goal to work on, we don't want violence is an example of a common goal. We can disagree about everything else, but that agreement that we don't want violence in the election cycle, that we don't want that to be part of it, that can be part of our common goal, and that all by itself can bring us together. Again, if we're working side by side on that one issue, we start to feel that one another is members of the same team. And if we're members of the same team, we're not dehumanizing each other. We might be disagreeing. We might be furious with each other. We might be absolutely certain that one another is completely wrong about our political positions and our moral systems and everything else. But we are not going to the place of actual dehumanization, and we're not likely to move to a place to violence. That's why it is so incredibly important to find these common goals that we can work on. Next time we talk, we'll dig into a little bit of how people actually change. We'll talk about transformation and about relationship. That's next time.